All right, welcome back to Game Night. Now, just hear me out for a second. I've got this tie. I know it's a bad tie. You know it's a bad tie, but it's sitting in my closet forever. I never have any occasion to wear it, so I figured final game night of the football season, this is the night. Okay, well, it is that magical time of the year when playoff football lines up across Iowa and Nebraska. So much quality action on the gridiron. We start the night with Sergeant Bluff Luton, who finished the regular season unbeaten for the first time since 1987. Warriors take on the 10th-ranked Rams to open the postseason. SBL closed out the year in the number 5 spot, one of 4 unbeaten teams in Class 3A. And the Warriors have that large Hadron Collider on the sideline, keeping things toasty. Warms you up real quick. First quarter, Glenwood driving. They go for it on 4th and 6. Goes through the hands of the receiver, so the Warriors take over on downs. Just 2 plays later, Daniel Wright flies the friendly skies into the breadbasket of Ty Bockelman. Tonight, he's Ty, the pass-catching guy. 62-yard score puts SBL on top 7-0. Then late in the first, Warriors are in the shotgun. Dylan Laughlin gets an unwarranted snap into the end zone for a Rams safety to put Glenwood on the board. Into the second quarter, it's still 7-2, but Cooper Silvius puts Glenwood on top with a 4-yard rushing score. Rams lead SBL 9-7. But here's where the game flips on its head. Under a minute left in the half, SBL forced to punt, but Dylan Laughlin takes a hit on the boot. That's a 15-yard penalty, and the Warriors have new life. Later in that drive, Britton Delperding takes the give, cuts to the outside, and finds Pater. 15-yard score puts SBL back on top, 14-9 at the half, and the Warriors are moving on with a 47-25 win over the Rams. Bishop Heelan, they just barely squeaked into the playoffs this year. Tough first-round game on the road against Harlan. Pickup action late in the second quarter, Darren Schmitz to Jonathan Monson for the touchdown. Cyclones up 35-0. Opening drive of the second half, Monson's pass is deflected, and Heelan comes up with the interception. And on the ensuing drive, Bishop Heelan, Sabian Clark, the North Dakota State commit playing with an injured shoulder, finds the hole and takes it into Cyclone territory. The drive would stall and the Crusaders would turn over on downs. Each team would add a touchdown, but Harlan rolls over Heelan 42-7. Now here's a look at half of your 3A playoff picture. Sergeant Bluff Luton will take on Harlan next week in the state quarterfinals. Warriors with a chance to make it back to the state semis for the second time in the last 3 years. Now let's jump down to 2A ball, where the defending state champs, BHRV, opens the postseason against Kemper Catholic. On the Nighthawks opening drive of the second half, Elliot Van Kickerix goes up the middle and hits Pater from 14 yards out. BHRV leads 35-0. On the ensuing drive, Kemper Catholic marches down the field, finds the end zone on a 1-yard drive by Dawson Vonk. The Knights are on the board, but it's 35-7. More from the top-ranked Nighthawks as Kemper quarterback Joseph Potabom is in the end zone while the line was holding safety. 37-7 Hawks, and BHRV advances 37-14. And here's your 2A playoff picture. BHRV is moving on. They'll play South Central Calhoun in the next round, Waukon and New Hampton moving on in the lower half of that bracket. Now let's close out the block with some 8-man playoff ball. Third-ranked and unbeaten Remsen St. Mary's hosting Boyer Valley tonight. After 3-and-out by Boyer Valley, USD commit Kanan Cox takes the outside handoff, and the Hawks first play the game for a 24-yard touchdown. Hawks up 6-0 after a missed PAT. After another forced punt by the Hawks, senior running back Kanan Cox taking the inside handoff, forces a missed tackle and cuts it outside for a 22-yard touchdown run. Hawks up 12-0. On the following possession, Boyer Valley looking to answer, but Joe Weber drops back and throws up a duck. It's intercepted by Kenneth Bowenkamp. Following the turnover, the Hawks showing no mercy, while Boyer Valley can't seem to find an answer for Cox early on as he makes another defender look silly for a 24-yard gain. The Hawks now running a speed option as Cox takes the pitch from quarterback Derek Short, dances his way up the sideline for 17 yards and his third touchdown of the game. Hawks now up 25-0. This game got out of hand easily and early as Kanan Cox takes the handoff for a 1-yard touchdown run, putting the Hawks up 31-0 midway through the second quarter. Cox was closing in on 100 rushing yards in the first half alone. They get the win 58-13 over Boyer Valley tonight. And here's the 8-man playoff picture. Remsen St. Mary's moving on. They take on Audubon, who's a real good team this year. That's going to be the quarterfinals, Fremont Mills and Sydney on the other half of the bracket. We've only scratched the surface of first-round playoff action. We'll jump into Nebraska when we return as Perfect Ponca looks to continue their unblemished record, hosting Donovan Trumbull in a first-round battle tonight. Lots more game night when we return. Ponca is back in the playoffs for the first time since 2013, and they're back in style. The Indians are 9-0 as they enter the postseason, top seed in Class C2, hosting Doniphan Trumbull tonight. Indians are 9 years removed from that championship in 2009, looking to get back to that spot this fall. Already up 30, Ponca starts the second half a lot like the first. Their running game is strong in this one. The pitch to Dalton Tremaine adds to their rushing total, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Tremaine takes the handoff up the middle for a huge gain, dragging defenders all along the way. Indians are in business. The drive gets capped off with a QB sneak by Logan Kingsbury, and the Indians rolling in this one, 38-zip. Cardinals show some signs of life with a big play through the air like this one. Brett Johnson finds Caden Ritz on the sideline, which sets up this next play. Johnson finds Keithan Stafford on a little underneath pass, and you gotta love this. Down big, Stafford still playing hard, reaches for the goal line. That's 6, and it was all just a little too late as the Indians roll the Cardinals 44-7. Now another C2 bout in Hartington as Cedar Catholic hosts Central City, and it was all Hartington early in this one. Dane Whitmire will fake the handoff and keep it himself. Keeps his feet on a broken tackle. Good hard-nosed run, carrying defenders with him to the ground. The fakes were working in this one early. Not only does Whitmire fake out Central City, but the cameraman as well. Busting off the left side is Jacob Kaiser for the long run down the sideline. Huge play, and he's pumped. CC up 7-0. The defense gets involved as well. Linebacker Kyan Jocumson clogs the middle and gets the stop for no gain. And on the very next play, it's big old Jacob Harr gets the QB sack. Got to be a scary sight for opposing QBs there. Cedar Catholic playing well early. Now good defense leads to good field position, and it's Kaiser again weaving his way through the defense on his way to another touchdown. Cedar Catholic up 14-zip, but the second half tells a very different tale. Central City completes the comeback, taking this one 27-26 over Hartington Cedar Catholic. Now Battle Creek is on a streak, a 3-game winning one that is, on the road against Wilbur Claytonia to open the postseason. Early first quarter, Ty Hymes takes the option, makes a defender miss, and gets the first down. Later on, Wilbur Claytonia's Michael Pulliam to Hunter Cervani for the first down, but Battle Creek comes out strong in the second half. The Braves pull off the upset tonight, 20-0. And here's a look at the C2 playoff bracket. This is going to be the second round of the postseason. It's going to be Ponca taking on Battle Creek. Tough one for the Braves as they face an unbeaten Ponca team. And Cedar Catholic knocked off tonight. Central City is moving on to play Centennial in the second round. Well, Norfolk made it into the playoffs with a 4-5 record. They're on the road today against Kearney, but it was a tough one all game for Norfolk. Kearney scored early and often, and they put an end to Norfolk's season with a 45-0 win. Shutout win for Kearney tonight. Big one for them. And here's a couple more scores from Nebraska we want to bring you. Norfolk Catholic, the top-ranked team in the state, gets a 20-7 win over Bishop Neumann. Neumann fought tough in that one, though. And Wayne, they pull off a big upset tonight. They travel about 5 hours across the state to take on Shadron, but they get a 2-point win, 30-28. Wayne wins this one. Well, that's a nice wrap-up of our Nebraska highlights tonight. We roll back into the fields of Iowa for another defending state champion, Western Christian, as they open their title defense down in Avoca. Lots of entering still to come. We'll soak this one in. It's your final play of the week for football season on game night. Sergeant Bluff Luton and Glenwood. Daniel Wright to Ty Bockelman for a 62-yard touchdown strike. This one got the Warriors on the board early, and it proved vital to keep them in the game in the first half. But SBL rolls in the second half. Warriors are on to the 3A quarterfinals. Now, as the defending 1A state champions, Western Christian did not envision a 7-2 record entering the playoffs, but c'est la vie. The Wolfpack are always a tough out in the postseason. They're on the road to take on the Vikings of Avoca, Hancock, Shelby, Tennant, Walnut. The Vikes are 10th in 1A to open the postseason. AHSTW's opening drive, direct snap to Gabe Pauley, takes it for a nice gain down the left sideline. Same drive the Vikings have at 4th and goal on the 2-yard line. Western Christian with the stop. The Wolfpack take over on downs. On the ensuing drive, Western Christian goes for it on 4th and 1 from their own 15-yard line. Ben Granstra rumbles ahead for the first down. Same drive, Granstra on the reverse picks up a nice gain on this one. And later on in the drive, the Wolfpack are faced with another 4th down on the Viking 20. Caleb Harmson rolls to his left, heaves it up. Justin Bleeker comes down with it and stretches for the touchdown. Western Christian up 7-0 after the first quarter, and the defending champs pull the upset over the Vikings, 28-10 final. Now West Lyon has been unstoppable this year. IKM Manning has delusions of handing the Wildcats their first loss of the season. On the Wolves' opening drive, though, Carter Erlmeyer is met at the line and fumbles the football. Stefan Van Beek collects the turnover, which led to a 2-yard touchdown run and a 7-0 West Lyon lead. On the Wildcats' second possession, Jaden Snyder hits Dylan Snyders on the screen pass, and the senior running back follows his blockers. 35 yards for the touchdown. Add the PAT, and West Lyon leads 14-0 after the first quarter. Second quarter now, the Wildcats add to their advantage as Snyder runs the read option, keeps him himself, and goes 15 yards for the touchdown, and it's 21-0 Wildcats. West Lyon led 35-0 at halftime, and they advanced to the quarterfinals by that same margin. That, I think, is the 7th shutout of West Lyon's season. That is unbelievable. Well, here's a look at your quarterfinals in Class 1A. West Lyon moving on to face Western Christian. That's going to be a phenomenal game as two really good teams coming in there. And Van Meter and Denver in the quarterfinals as well in the bottom half of that bracket. Now, these are our last highlights for tonight, but I have little doubt that you'll enjoy them. Number 1 in Class A, West Sioux hosting Sioux Central. On the Falcons' opening drive, Chase Coatman walks in the end zone from a yard out, and West Sioux leads 7-0. Possession later, it's going to be Hunter Deckers. He finds Jake Lynott on the seam route for a 21-yard touchdown. Lynott had 88 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. On the heels of a turnover, Lynott, he goes to work on the ground this time. Jake tallies the 8-yard touchdown. He had 171 rushing yards and 5 scores on the ground, and West Sioux wins with ease, 63-6. Here's a couple more scores from Class A of big interest for you guys. Lamar's Galen pulls off a stunning upset over Southwest Valley. They bulldozed Southwest Valley tonight. 34-14, Galen pulls off the upset. Westwood, unfortunately, their season comes to an end, 27-0 at the hands of Council Bluffs St. Albert. Now here, let's take a look at the Class A quarterfinals. West Sioux moving on. They're going to have a home game against West Hancock. Meanwhile, Lamar's Galen, they've got a tough matchup with Council Bluffs St. Albert. And we want to show you a few highlights from tonight. The Muskies were in action taking on the Chicago Steel. Rematch from the title game last year. The Steel had a 3-1 lead in the second period, but the Muskies come out and score a couple goals. They match it at 3-3. Unfortunately, the Muskies do end up falling tonight by a 5-3 final. That's going to do it for our highlights tonight. Let's check in with the baseball game over on Fox KPTH 44. Astros leading the Dodgers right now 5-3, much to the chagrin of our boss Diana Castillo. She's a big Dodgers fan, so they're trailing the Astros right now. Houston looking to go up 2-1 on the Dodgers. And on Sunday, make sure you remember the Vikings game is going to be early in the morning in London. That will not be here covered by Fox KPTH. That's going to be on NFL Network. That's it for game night. Have a good night.